Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain.
Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for being here. Happy Friday, everyone. Grand Rising. GMs, G Mulligans. I'm not sure what GR is. GR CWC. What would GR? It's it is a foreign flag I'm not familiar with. Help me understand. I know what BD means. I know a lot of alternate GMs or good mornings, but I'm not familiar with GR. Corona, you got to help me out. What does GR stand for? Help educate me this morning on coffee. Oh, Grand Rising. Thank you, Katie. That's the obvious one. I was overcomplicating it. I even said Grand Rising and overcomplicating it, thinking it was something from a different language. But teacher Katie always, she's the Mel of abstract chat, always first over there. Mel said she can't comment. I hope that doesn't mean there's an X update that I did not do this morning. Let me check on that real quick, and then we'll jump into all things on this fine Friday morning, despite the market. I haven't even checked this morning. I'm going to go check that right now. I was talking about yesterday how you could say it's either desensitized or it's broken, my brain, that is, whereas no comment on X. No comment, so you can't comment on the X spaces. Mine, I have the purple pill in the bottom right for me. Got an error on abstract too. I'm not sure what's going on. X looks fine to me. No update available in my app store. I think we're all running the current one, but I could be mistaken. Nevertheless, we will keep powering through. I see if there's like it is lagging a little bit. Not as many comments in the X Spaces chat as there normally is. I see Machiavelli. I see Aspiring Nobody. I see Beanie. I need to learn how to pronounce Suyin X. I'm probably saying that wrong. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but relatively new regular listener out there. Appreciate you. I see you. You give Mel a chat. Actually, you beat Mel today since she can't comment in the chat. The purple pill not working for all, but our favorite Jack is jumping up on stage. Jack, were you able to see the comments? Were you able to see the purple pill in the bottom of the Twitter Spaces?
Oh, can you hear me, Cap?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Oh, I got the weird thing. No, you've got the host bug, the little blue plus for the comment section.
Man, can you do me a favor? Because we're at Web3 Warhead said probably need to do an update. Can you check? You mind checking your X version in your app store and see if it is saying there's an update available?
I had one like 2 days ago. Are you on desktop right now?
No, I only host from the phone.
Yeah, of course you do. Right, yeah. Let me double check. I'm
just curious. That's usually the issue when people can't see the purple pill for the comments. It's usually they aren't. We're not on the same version. I just checked and there's no new updates available for me.
No new updates for me either.
Looks like we just got a bad one. So is what it is. I won't. I've stopped asking for the likes, reposts, and bookmarks to start the show, but because X is doing X Spaces things this morning and nerfing our chat, I will ask for the extra love on the X Spaces link. It's pinned up top all the way to the right. You should. Yeah, Mel says no update for her either. That stinks. It is still possible to comment. It is just not obviously easy when that little chat is not in the bottom right. So appreciate the love on the space today. It's all the way to the right. If you head up top to the Jumbotron, scroll all the way to the right there, you will see it. We're also live on X Video, obviously, as well as YouTube in the abstract chat. The one thing that I will show is our YouTube chat. Our grind to 500 subs continues. If we get to 300 today, that would make my Friday. So if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, would be greatly appreciated. Also, I'm not gonna comment on I haven't even opened it yet. Believe it or not, I just took a screenshot, dropped it in the War Room chat. The very interesting subject line from another Substack. I think it was actually from Substack themselves. Believe it or not. And I saw someone subscribe to my Substack. I don't even have a Substack that I'm aware of, so that's interesting. We actually use, Beehive is our newsletter provider of choice. That goes out tomorrow. You're going to want to hit that up too. We've got some fun things planned this year. Not the teases won't continue forever. I actually do have. I'm not sure if we are going to announce it. We have last month, Katie was our community member of the month and won several hundred ape for her just as a small token of our appreciation. I think it was like 750, 850 ape, something like that. Proof of Alpha Degen came over the top and added a 100 ape to the kitty, and it was not sponsored. We just wanted to support some of our partners as we acknowledge and reward our community members of the month. This month coming up, we have another prize for our community member of the month. The community member of the month is going to be selected from our YouTube members, anyone who's subscribed over on YouTube. We're going to have to get creative on how we do that, because I wasn't aware until recently that most people don't make their subscriptions public. And so we may have to ask for like a screenshot to prove that you're a sub. Anyways, we will pick a winner, and this month's winner in February, we're going to pick a winner from the YouTube subs. This month's winner is going to get a TCG Gold claw pull from our friends over at Beezy. Not a sponsored post. They're not paying for it. I reached out to Andrea, congratulated them on a good month, mentioned we were doing this, and she said, yes, we're in for awarding a Coffee with Captain Community Member of the Month with a Beezy claw pull, their Grail claw pull. You can see here on the screen, it's a $250 claw pull. The average value of those right now is $273. Pretty big one, right, Jack? I got you off mute. If you want to get in here, go ahead.
Oh, I'm assuming that's for me. Sorry, Cap. No, my bad. I've got the puppy chewing on my headphones. She's unmuted me.
Love it. That's it's my favorite kind of unmutes when we can blame the doggos. This TCG Gold claw pull is no joke though. It's the average value is $273. There is the base pulls, like worst case scenario, you get a card worth $130 that you could instant sell. But yeah, the base pull is $130 to $250. 20% chance of a common, which is $251 to $500. Uncommon, 3% chance of $501 to $1,000. Rares are up to $1,500, and then the ultra rares is over $1,500, including this. The top one in there is a 1999 Mint 9 Pokemon Blastoise. Am I saying that right, Jack? You probably have a Blastoise tattoo.
I don't. I have a Charmander and a Charizard tattoo. But no Blastoise. But it was one of my favorites. But you are absolutely saying that right.
If you were to win our Coffee with Captain Community Member of the Month in February and get a win this TCG Gold Claw pull from BZ and pull the Blastoise Mint 9, 2 questions. A, first of all, would you keep the card or would you sell it for the value is $8,889? So I think you get. Joey might have to jump up and correct me if he's out there. I think the instant sell offer is like 75 to 80% of the value. I'm not certain on that though. Would you keep it or would you sell it into the offer? And if you do keep it, would you then add a Blastoise tattoo?
Both of those things would be true. So I'd A, keep it, and B, if I was dropped a card with like $8,000, then yes, I'd probably have to get that tattooed. I would even go as far as saying, sponsored by Coffee with Captain in little black text at the bottom of that tattoo.
This is how if you want to win Coffee with Captain Community Member of the Month, my love can be bought. If you're going to tell me if you win, there's a chance you get a Coffee with Captain tattoo, you just immediately leapfrogged everyone else. As long as you're subscribed to YouTube, Jack, as long as you're one of those 200.
Dude, I think I'm like the fourth subscriber you had. I think
that actually is true. We were going back through yesterday and looking at our subscribers. Most of them are anon or it's not public information. We had to go back to some of the very early ones. And I think Payne might have actually even called you out yesterday as like subscriber number 3. It's not just the Blastoise though. There's several Grail cards. There is a War Manga that's $5,000. There's a team, I don't know what this is, a Pokemon that's worth $4,000. Another Japanese promo EV Munch. You can tell I'm really into this area of collectibles. There's another Pokemon Cherry Blossom that's like $1,200. But yeah, a few uber grails in there. But worst case scenario, you're even the baseline pull is anywhere from $150 to $250. And yeah, the swap is up to 90% of the fair market value. That I guess could vary depending on what you pull. But yeah, if you end up pulling the one that's $8,800, I mean, you could. The offer is going to be around $8K.
Keeping it.
Keep it. Yep, good stuff. Okay, shout out to BZ. We will bring that up again. If you've not yet, go check us out on YouTube and hit coffeewithcaptain.com and drop your email in there for the newsletter. I'm not sure what I did here on screen. There we go. Sorry, I don't know what I'd hit to throw the video off. Thomas says, I love the newsletter. I get it once a week. Actually look forward to it and filling it out for feedback. Thank you very much for filling it out for feedback. There's a poll. We run a weekly poll in there that is just a simple 4-question poll. And after you submit the poll, there's an opportunity after you vote in the poll, there's an opportunity to submit feedback as well. Appreciate any and all feedback there. We are continually looking for ways to improve the show and make it, it's been a community show from the jump, and we look to continue to do so with your feedback. Not that we incorporate every idea. The War Room was on a heater this morning. There was about 10 simultaneous conversations occurring, none of which I can talk about here on the show this morning, but I was considering each and every one of them. But Anyways, I digress. Appreciate y'all being here. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone survived yesterday's market crash. We started off the show yesterday talking about the doom and gloom, although we didn't go doom and gloom. We did our best to put the optimistic spin on the market and opportunities in the market, even if you're not buying, if you're not DCAing or buying dips, just looking ways to capitalize on depressed attention, depressed participants as active users leave. It creates a vacuum of users leaving, leading to more opportunities for those that are here. And I said it yesterday. Yeah, everyone's keeping the Blastoise. When Coffee with Captain, we will talk about rebringing back the Coffee with Captain segment. We'll do at least one for a community member of the month here later in February or to kick off March. But this is hilarious. I just saw we lost Jack. If you want to get back up here, go right ahead. I just saw my today's news, thinking about what we're going to talk about on today's show. We do have actually a few topics we're going to hit on. Like it or not, we will have to talk about the market. It was one of the worst sell-offs maybe ever. All time, not in terms of percentage wise, but in terms of dollar value, one of the worst we've ever seen, rivaled, if not worse, than the FTX crash, COVID crash, and others. Fear and greed is the lowest it's been since the chart was created. Fear and greed at 5 today. That's on a scale of 100, and we've never seen fear and greed at 5. So historically, every other time it's been extreme fear like this in single digits, it's been an incredible, I would say, generational buying opportunity. As the market usually recovers and recovers violently. That said, I understand it's very hard to want to hit the buy button when it seems like everyone is leaving, everyone's dumping. We actually have some interesting theories as to why, from some pretty big brains, that may not be what you think might be behind the cause of the sell-off. No, it's not. Epstein was not the creator of Bitcoin. Did he have conversations with some of the early core devs, and especially those that ended up leaving to Zcash? It seems so. But I think if you are looking to disprove that theory, you probably don't have to go any further than how unlikely it would be that the creator of Bitcoin, who has remained anonymous for all this time, was the same person who didn't even secure their emails and documenting all the illegal activity they were doing. Those two things are not congruent, but again, I digress. We have also, I know OpenClaw we talked about earlier this week. There was a good thread that came out on how to set that up safety if you're looking for a project this weekend. There's also a new product launching on Mega ETH that I'm very excited about. We will highlight that briefly, and a few new Coinbase listings yesterday in the depths of this bear or sell-off. I said that the trade of the day. I'm buying some Bitcoin today. I'm buying some Hyperliquid today. Now available on Coinbase. So is Dude. It was maybe the funniest tweet I saw yesterday was someone referencing. They said, "Thanks, Coinbase." I'll see if I can find it. Bitcoin's down 11% today. Thanks for letting me know I can buy doodles in the midst of this bloodbath. I'm not seeing the exact tweet. I know I shared it, so I will go find it here in a second. But Jack, welcome back to the stage. Are you seeing any chance you're seeing the comment button now, or is the chat just dead today?
Chat's dead, brother. Yeah, no, it's still a little blue plus.
That sucks. Kev, GM, been a while. Welcome to the stage. Always appreciate hearing from you. And I guess feel free to take it whichever direction you'd like. But quick question before you get into what you joined the stage for, join the conversation for. Are you seeing the chat bubble down in the bottom right, or is it the plus button for you as well?
For me, it's a plus button.
That stinks. So chat will be a little slow today. There are ways to backdoor into the chat. You'd have to click my profile, go into the and then you'll see on my timeline the actual audio space should be pinned to the top of my feed, and you could comment from there. I know that's a couple extra steps. It's not ideal. It's bad UI, UX, but I don't have any logical reason to explain why. Usually when it's not there, it's also not on my end, or it's because I'm running an old version of X, or the users are running an old version. Anytime that there's we're not running the same version of X, and they do update the app frequently, that often leads to issues like the chat disappearing. So it's not there. You have to click through the profile if you want to join that chat, or head over to YouTube and join the chat there. All those YouTube comments pop up on StreamYard here, and I can flash them on the screen. Easy to see and keep up with. Everyone's saying that Blastoise is a keeper if they pull it. So good luck while you're over at YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and be in the running for that for the claw pull. And then last but not least, I'll hand it right back to Kev here so he can take it where he would like to take it. I just because I mentioned it earlier, I did find it, so I'll show you this tweet that made me laugh. I literally LOL'd. Yeah, Bitcoin may be down 13% today, but at least Coinbase just alerted me that I can trade effing doodles now. Dude is now available on Coinbase. They're saying read the room. It wasn't the worst read the room post of yesterday. The White House came out and said that 62% of Americans feel wealthier than ever before, or something like that, which I quote tweeted and said, yeah, the 4 people they pulled was Bezos, Musk, and the Google founders. I don't know who they're pulling, but maybe that's true. Maybe it was they pulled 100 people and 62 of them felt that way. Certainly not the day to take that victory lap. Read the room is right. And most importantly, though, all jokes aside, I do hope everyone is doing okay. I don't have the answers for you. I'm not a therapist, but if you are down bad, if you took some big L's, got liquidated this week, and don't feel good, don't do anything. Don't do anything stupid. Don't call someone. My DMs are open. I will do my best to pay attention to it today since I threw that out there. But talk to someone if you're hurting. You're not the only one. It's not the end of the world. It's just numbers on the screen, and you can make it all back, believe it or not. That said, let's go back to Kevin, and then we'll get Joey in here. Kevin, GM, what brought you up today?
Hey, GM. I just want to come and hang out with you guys for a bit. I am in the car, and I'm about to go into a few tunnels. I know the connection is usually bad here, so I'll be back in a few minutes. But I just wanted to GM and hang out with you guys for a bit. It's been a while indeed, and I'm slowly getting back onto spaces. So excited to hang with you guys.
Awesome, man.
But be back in 5 or 10 minutes.
Sounds good. Yeah, appreciate you jumping up, and we'll look forward to the return. Joey, GM, I'm not sure if you caught it there. Was plugging the community member of the month this month. I don't know if you're aware of this yet. We have not talked about it, but is going to win a BZ Gold claw pull. And we're flexing some of the prizes over there, some of those grails, that $8,000, almost $9,000 Blastoise. I misspoke or wasn't sure on the swap value. I said I think it's 75 to 80% of the value. I then saw on the site that it's up to 90% fair market value. Does that percentage, is there a range? Does it vary? Anything to add to that? And again, feel free to take it wherever you'd like. GM.
Yeah, GM guys. No, I came up for that, but also X is broken for me too.
It's broken for everyone.
Yeah, it's just broke. But yeah, it's 90%. So whatever you see as the fair market value, you're going to get offered 90%. And then obviously we have a little bit of fees as well, so that way we can keep the lights on. So if you pull that, you'll get a nice little win. And the great thing is you're getting it in USDC base, so you don't have to worry about price fluctuation. And we secretly stealth dropped the ability to withdraw funds now. I don't know if I front ran an announcement or not. If we had something planned, I apologize, team.
Say that again.
But due to our move to base now, you could actually withdraw funds directly to your Coinbase now, if you do hit something big.
Nice. And if you missed it, the move to base, the move to multi-chain led to a record-setting month for BZ last month. No pressure, but would not be surprised to see that continue again in February. Jack, can't remember if I cut you off there. Go ahead, Joey.
Were you going to hit on what I just shared in the war room at some point?
I did not see, but I will.
Did you Death Star announce their first target?
Oh yeah. That's on the list today. We can jump right into that. It's better. I mean, it is an interesting topic. We were talking about it yesterday. We had some speculation, and the other stuff is not certainly not time sensitive. We'll let room warm up a little bit here, and then we'll have the bigger market talk, the fair and greed at 5, and maybe the why behind this massive crash, sell off, whatever you want to call it. There's a few theories, and some I think carry some baked in some pretty good logic. But yes, we talked about Death Star from CyberKongz. I don't know, Payne, I don't know why my video keeps popping back. I'll keep a better eye on it. And Payne says, look, the professional producer he is. Apparently, it was community noted on the White House post, and so they deleted it. That's funny. I don't even know. I mean, again, polls are one of the dumbest things ever because you've got, I don't know, 350 million people in this country, and they'll poll 100 people and then call that like, oh, this is accurate data. This is a large sample size. So like, even if it was something as stupid as that, they poll 100 people and 62 of them responded that way. Just horrible timing. And I say this like, not even a political statement. Just the White House intern has been on somewhat of a heater. Like it's, they have some funny posts. They've had multiple posts go viral beyond just because it's White House news. That was just really poorly timed, and just I like, again, a poll could be 100 people and maybe it checks out, but it just doesn't seem like based in any sort of real logic or rationale on many fronts. And overall sentiment beyond CT, it's not just crypto Twitter that is feeling like it's not been the greatest run here over the last 6 months or so. But yes, I guess if you've been sitting on nothing but the gold and silver, which they too are like, again, just timing bad on almost every front. Anyways, Death Star. Trying to get my brain back on point. The war room really, the conversations this morning really threw me, not threw me for a loop, but distracted me a little bit. And I'm trying to get my brain back on point. My ADD is taking over and going down paths that I'm not supposed to go down on the show. So that's it. Here we go.
While you're trying to do that, I'm gonna, since you're giving a $250 away for the Community of the Month member, I think we should also give away a $50 for the runner-up. So if you have a runner-up in mind, we can give somebody a TCG silver pull today too.
Well, we weren't going to do it today. I mean, the community, this is for February, so we'll pick the community member like on the 20th.
Oh, well then screw it. Just give it away for something. Who cares? Give away a TCG silver today. Today?
Okay, let's do it. Let's you know what? I am going to, I know this isn't like, you're not supposed to drive engagement or followers or subscribers with giveaways. I get that, but it's 8:28. We haven't even really warmed up the room yet. Twitter is broken. As I scan the crowd, it appears that the overwhelming majority of you out there are regulars, longtime loyal fans. So I'm perfectly fine in doing this. We will drive the giveaway to YouTube. So any new YouTube subscribers this morning, there's been, it looks like 3 this morning. I just need you to head over there, hit the subscribe button, take a screenshot of that, prove that you're a subscriber, drop that in the chat. So we're going to make you work for it today because I know it's not easy to drop it in the chat. So you have to head to YouTube, subscribe, screenshot, come back to X, click my profile. If you don't, assuming you don't have the chat bubble in the bottom right, click my profile and then comment in the X Spaces chat that you are a new subscriber, and we will, Joey, remind me, are you able to hang out today? You got a heart out at 9 or anything?
I could be here till 9:30.
Okay, we'll pick our winner like 9:20. So yeah, you've got 50 minutes to go subscribe and prove that you're a new subscriber to YouTube, and one of you will win a $50 claw pull. And while you may not pull a $8,000 or $9,000 Grail item over there, the silver pull is also no joke. I will quickly flash that here on the screen. You can see The average value is $56. There is even the base level, it's 25 to 50. Commons 51 to 100. Uncommons 101 to 250. Rares 251 to 500. And you got an ultra rare. It's over. An ultra has even a better chance than hitting than a rare. It's over $500. The top one being the chase item here is a 2024 Pokemon special illustration. It's a Gem Mint 10. There's also a $1,600 One Piece and an $1,100 Gold Star Mew. Again, I don't know what half of these are, but you could choose whether you want to keep it or you could instantly sell it, swap it for 90% fair market value, hit that USDC in your account right over to Coinbase. And Joey, thank you very much for doing that. Appreciate it. Again, not a sponsored. This isn't sponsored. They're just friends. And Joey being generous out of the good of his heart. So appreciate you and appreciate all of our new subscribers over there. It is popping off already. So shout out to everyone that's playing along. Not only is X broken, StreamYard. It's the first time I ever remember having this issue. So it is just going to. Yeah, it is just going to throw. It is going to be a challenging Friday on the technical front. First, it was Roadcaster. We solved that last weekend. This weekend is going to be today, anyways. Friday is going to be figuring out why StreamYard continues to shift automatically the view. Anyways, here we are. Let's go back to
Friday has become like Tech Failure Friday.
Sheesh. It is. I'm not going to say this because people will take it the wrong way. But since I said I'm not going to say it, I would just say that the tech failures that I don't know what they are actually more frustrating than Bitcoin selling off 13%. I know that's going to sound crazy, but I'm just buying Bitcoin at a discount. I had no intention to sell my Bitcoin bag. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. My long-term bags are packed and I would just continue to pack them. So this is just I shouldn't say that. Yes, it does impact me, not financially in the short term. I know I am very empathetic to the businesses, the brands building in this space, those that have TGs coming up. Like that sucks. And although I even saw a couple takes yesterday, like Mega ETH launching in this market, maybe a good thing. Lowers expectations. I think those that can start low and you've got one way to go is better than coming out of the gates at $5 billion, $10 billion valuation. And you're going to have a lot of sell pressure, a lot of dumpers. The product I mentioned, we may talk about Prism here, at least at the flyover. You're going to be able to stake your Mega ETH day one. And I think that sort of stuff is important. Relative to some of the other chain launches we've seen here recently, where there's just nothing to do with your tokens other than play some silly beer pong game or sell them. And if that's the case, a lot of people are just going to sell and take their gains or cut off their losses depending on where the thing opens. That said, back to CyberKongz and their new target, their first target. When I first saw this, I was very much so not a fan. I'm not saying I'm a fan now of this whole Death Star and how they're doing this thing. It's entertaining. It's going to be interesting to watch. And this isn't a shot at Moonbirds. I still hold on my burb. I have a mythic. I don't hold the other ones we talked about yesterday were Doodles and Azuki. I don't have any exposure to those ecosystems anymore. So this one could impact me more so than others, although I think it's just going to be the OG collection. I'm glad that they picked Moonbirds 1 as opposed to some of the others because there's just more motion now. There's more activity. There's more buyers. And those NFTs do have a fungible token allocation, a monthly allocation that is basically stored or staked inside those NFTs. Therefore, it's not going to go to zero. It is going to find a floor at some point. So this,
but don't you have to have those? Wait, to get the allocation, don't you have to be nested though? So,
well, yeah, but someone if it's not nested down, someone buys it, they can nest it and get future allocations. So you're missing out on the first half of this month, but you would get all future allocations. And as long as the burb token doesn't go to zero, those NFTs hold future fungible tokens, future burb token in there. By the way, I just looked, like, this is probably the best performer on the day, I'm guessing, in this bloodbath. Market makers doing their thing, and have sent this thing flying back up 35% on the day, up to, I said that. Once again, I'm doubling down on my take. I think the market makers have a floor. Their job is to hold the floor at 200 million. They've done that, or pretty darn close to it. We've now seen a couple of pumps, a couple of these God candles. I think the last time it sent it to over 400 million. This time sent it to 320. I don't know. Maybe they adjust their number to 300 million, but it's, to me, seems very clear that the market maker's mandate is to not let the floor fall below 200 million for very long at all. And so it's here we are. So yeah, with this being said, the Burb token being at 320, it's a math problem. And because of that, people are just not going to let the Moonbird NFTs go to zero. Like, there will be buyers to step in, there'll be funds to step in, something. So back to the point is, I am really glad that it is that it's Moonbirds over some of the others that may not necessarily have like those sorts of, I know fundamentals sound weird, but those sort of, I'm struggling to find a proper word to describe it, but they're like, the Moonbirds NFTs has things going for it right now and today and February 26th that many of the other NFT collections don't have, in the sense of not just activity and some momentum following TGE, but specifically, if you go buy a Moonbird token, you can nest it and get Burb token, which is trading at 320 million FTV. I'm curious. I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I think Joey and Jack maybe both weighed in on this whole Death Store thing. I've come back from, like, my first reaction was almost like disgust, like, this is gross, like, this is just bad. And now I'm kind of liking it's just like a different spin on PvP, and I'm not saying that's great, but it is different. It is an on-chain experiment, and I'm not rushing out to buy CyberKongz, but they've captured some attention. They're doing something different. It's on-chain. They're experimenting. I'm here for that. Like, more of this, slightly different, but it could, like, worst case scenario, it could play out like blur farming on steroids, and it could, like, it's in range. It could really kill some of these collections. I don't think that's going to happen with Moonbirds. In fact, I'm pretty confident it's not going to happen with Moonbirds. And the fact that they start with Moonbirds, it may not go well at all. Like, it may not be supported. I don't think that'll be the case. I'd imagine that the team and the community they've got some, they're going to be buyers of Death Star from the jump and participate in the voting mechanisms. Because after this first one, it's going to be the holders that hold 1,000 or more Death Star token are going to be the ones that vote on which collections they go after next. And yeah, there's some fans. Zane, who's was our biggest Burb bag, our biggest Burb promoter for a while, is now a big fan of Burbs being targeted by the Death Star. Let's go back to Joey, since you brought it up, and then we'll get Jack. And if Kevin's back with us and want to weigh in on this, feel free to do so. But Joey, what is your thoughts, or do you have any feelings on Burb or Moonbirds being selected as the first target?
I guess my thought would be, like, why? Like, what? Like, I know it was a vote among, holders. Like, I'd be curious to know, like, why their holders chose Moonbirds. Like,
I don't know if is there like, I don't know if this first one was voted, because my understanding is the it's not CyberKongz holders. It's going to be holders of Death Star, and I don't think the actual token is launched yet, has it?
Oh, so I guess I'm confused then, because in the article they released, it was like you had to hold at least 1,000 of Death Star in order to vote on which collection. So did they just pick? So then did CyberKongz just pick Moonbirds?
I think so.
As the first one before releasing the token?
I think so, and I think it was premeditated. I'm not saying that the CyberKongz team has a vendetta against Spencer. My guess, my assumption is they obviously are well aware of what I just said, and the fact that Moonbirds has this, they have Burb token in these NFTs. Therefore, it's kind of a safer first target, where there should be, when, and again, if you missed it yesterday, this whole Death Star thing, basically it is a not exactly a fork of Punkster and TokenWorks, but they took that idea where with the TokenWorks model, the flywheel in that scenario is the contract buys an NFT of the collection. It relists that NFT for 20% above the floor price, the current floor price. And then when that NFT sells, they take the funds and they go buy the fungible token that's associated with it. So in the case of Good Vibes Club, they will buy a Good Vibes Club. The smart contract does list it 20% above floor. When that NFT sells, then the smart contract takes the Vibester or it takes the ETH it just collected from the sale. It buys Vibester and then burns Vibester. So it's deflationary on the fungible token, and it's buying NFTs and then relisting them higher. So it's taking the floor. In Death Star, the model they're doing, it's the reverse of that. It's buying the NFT, listing it 20% below floor, and that should sell instantly. So there's the NFTs where on the other side that created a sell wall occasionally, or not occasionally, it has the ability to create a sell wall and kind of stall momentum. Here, you could see the flywheel flying a lot faster because theoretically, almost everyone that gets bought and listed 20% below floor is going to get sniped. Like someone's going to attempt the arbitrage, although I'm really curious to see how this plays out because it is really unique. My first reaction was not great. The more I think about it, it's going to be interesting. Like it's going to be worth following. We're going to talk about it, and I don't wish any ill will on Moonbirds collection or any of these collections that get targeted. Maybe it does create a flywheel in the sense that it gets new people in the collection that have been wanting to get in, and they get they get in a discount. And I just I don't know how it plays out, right? And it could be short lived, and then the floor bounces to a point where the smart contract doesn't have enough to acquire anymore, and they move on to the next one. I guess I will, again, I respect the team for taking a new shot, trying something new, experimenting on chain. And this also, I think it was premeditated, is in their post here where they said, this isn't daycare, this is Death Star. They quote tweeted Spencer from the day before, says, to launch a token into this market, you have to be realistic about what it is. This isn't daycare, it's a gladiator arena. A lot of companies are about to die. Those which survive the carnage will lead the next run. We stayed locked in. So I interpret their targeting Moonbirds here as Spencer's walking with a little bit of swagger, a little bit of confidence, following a token drop that was objectively very poor from a user experience. Like they had multiple issues with claim, and the site didn't work. But despite that, the token has, not only is it up 35% of the day, it's at 320 million fully diluted value. It's outperformed most people's expectations, whether it's market makers pumping it or not, which I do believe it is. I mean, I'm going to keep referencing back to they haven't grown their holder base since launch day. It's sat at 14,700. So there's not been a single net new buyer. And yet we've seen this thing rip up to 400 million. We saw it rip to 300 million. Like, I don't think my brain can't calculate how you would get a god candle like this. And during a massive crypto bloodbath, a token will be up 37% in a day, while all the majors are crushed and most alts are down too, without any net new buyers. It doesn't make any logical sense to me, unless these holders aren't inclusive of UBIT, Upbit, and some of the centralized exchanges. Let's go back to Joey for a response, and we'll get Jack in here.
Yeah, it's good. I think the interesting part is going to be how much money does the bot actually have, right? So I'm assuming maybe I missed it, but I didn't read how they were initially going to fund the bot. So I'm assuming they're going to do something similar to the strategy token where, like you can participate in its initial launch by purchasing at different, as the 90%, then it goes down every percent, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm assuming you're going to have to buy it, right? Because I think they are going to be airdropping some of it to CyberKongz holders. So the question really is, on how effective or ineffective it's going to be is how many people participate in that initial offering. Because if the bot doesn't get enough money to buy, then this whole concept of like, oh, you're going to push a floor price from 1 ETH to like 0.01 ETH won't happen. They just won't have enough money to buy. So that's my first curiosity, is how many people are actually going to get behind this and participate in the coin offering, so the bot has the money to go out and start doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, great question. I also assume that it is there'll be either. Well, I'll read it here in a second. How it's going to get started. I do have it pulled up here on. Actually, I don't, but I'll share the screen I was looking at. I assume there's going to be some sort of initial offering and tokenomics. Okay, so operating a similarly classic strategy token, Death Star works with 10% tax on buys and sells, 9% to the mechanics. Every trade feeds the engine that powers Death Star, funding purchases, relist, and buybacks. 1% to developers, a sustainable fund for ongoing development, security, and ecosystem growth. Fair launch. Death Star will adopt the fair launch mechanics seen within the most recent strategy launch. There'll be 1 billion tokens, starting with an initial 99% tax. They're doing it the same way strategy did, or TokenWorks did. So at launch, there's a 99% tax, and it decreases 1% per minute until it levels at 10%, where it will remain fixed. All tokens will be available at launch with no other method of obtaining tokens other than direct purchase. So there is no airdrop. The team is not getting any. It is truly fair launch. It's just the fair launch with, when it launches, 99% tax. So if you buy at launch, you're paying a huge tax. If you wait until it levels at 10%, the token price has probably went up then at that point. But after the fair launch, then users are able to vote on the next Death Star target collection. Every 3 days, the team will shortlist 5 NFT projects, and then holders with 1,000 or more Death Star can vote on the next target. One token equals 1 vote. Tokens must be locked. Any amount above 1,000, no need to lock full balance. I'm guessing they'll lock it on their site, like soft staking. It doesn't say you'll have to stake it for any period of time. Tokens are claimable after the voting period. So if you have 10,000 or 1 million tokens, you only need to lock 1,000 of them. And I interpret this, you'll still be able to vote with your whole total amount. So if you have 1 million tokens, you'll have 1 million votes, but you only need to lock 1,000 of them, unless I'm mistaken that.
How about the people that just tried to buy bought a bunch of CyberKongz to push the floor price up, and they're not getting any token?
It's a good question. I guess my first thought is, if this does drive the floors way down of these collections, then there's only 1,000 of these CyberKongz. There's a world where by default, because I guess I doubt they're going to attack their own collection, right? The first one was picked by the founders. The team is going to shortlist the 5. I doubt the team puts CyberKongz on the list. So basically, theoretically, they win by default by not being included by not being targeted. And if CyberKongz goes out, and let's say next week they attack Pudgy, and then the next week, 3 days later, they attack Apes. Like if it does drive floor prices down to just crazy sell-offs, there's a world where CyberKongz at 2 ETH becomes the second highest price NFT collection behind Punks. I know people aren't going to want to hear that, but that is in the range of outcomes here. So I think and there was probably some speculation on CyberKongz OGs getting token allocation or something, but I think it's just the more of like a by default defensive mood. They won't be part of this Death Star targeting. Jack, what are your thoughts here?
Cap, I'm so confused. I'm just like, is this the market for a confusing as fuck token PvP? So confused. Yeah, look, I love what they did, OG, with the CyberKongz. I'm trying to read through this article, which apparently has over 100,000 people who've read it. anyone who's already read it, because also, like, I'm sorry, but no. But anyone who has actually read it, then yeah, if you want to give me the TLDR, please feel free to. It's way too complicated for me. It maybe is one of those things that like will just make more sense when people do it. I don't think the timing's fantastic. It's weird. My initial gut reaction to it is it's really weird. It's really confusing, and I don't like it.
It was my first reaction as well. I don't love it, but I actually, from a timing standpoint, I think it's the perfect timing. I think it gives me like launch something like this in the depths of the bear where easier to capture attention. Most teams aren't launching tokens right now. And it's like going to get it. I said it yesterday in the word. It gives me like Goblin Town vibes. Goblin Town was a free mint, the depths of the bear, and that thing ripped up to like 8 or 9 ETH back in the day. This is launching Death Star in this market that's seemingly most cryptos and NFTs have gotten murdered. It's like the irony of it's not lost on me. Like I think it actually. I'm not saying it's perfect timing, but here's another take from Web3 Warhead. Do you think that all the haters of Moonbirds or Spencers will just buy the token just to be a villain? Some will. And I don't know the CyberKongz team. Personally, I think they follow a couple of them. We follow back. I don't know if we've never had them on the show. Probably overdue now. We should get them on to talk about this. To me, it does seem they're entering their villain arc, and villains can certainly capture attention. Whether they are haters of Moonbirds and Spencer, or they identified this. Okay, this is like a softer one to go at launch. This is a good one to start with because of the fungible token being baked into the value of those NFTs. Payne says he feels like CyberKongz talked to Spencer and it's part of the bit. I think that's also a possibility here. Like Spencer very well could be in on it. And imagine this. They're the first one targeted. A few days go by and yeah, there's some that get bought at 20% discount. Some people get in the collection for less than the floor price, and Moonbird's floor actually goes up afterwards. Like, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying it's likely to happen, but I would say it's 50-50 that Spencer's actually in on it. And I say that because of the last tweets we just showed there. Now, there's a couple things like maybe CyberKongz team said, oh, we're going to target Moonbirds first for whatever reason, whether it was what I speculated earlier or not. Maybe they saw Spencer's tweet here and like, oh my goodness, this guy is taunting us. We're going after him. And they decided to target Moonbirds first because of this tweet yesterday. Or this tweet yesterday was part of the bid. Spencer's in on it, and this is all part of the game, part of the content, part of the entertaining. I don't know how to feel. Like but because of this, it is different. It's not just another token drop. It's no offense. It's not just another strategy token. It also, like, you talk about art or performance art. Like, it's supposed to invoke emotion, right? Like, our art is subjective, but the one thing I'm pretty sure that most art, like good art, is supposed to do is it's supposed to invoke emotion. Most people feel a way about this, one way or another. Like, most people aren't apathetic to this concept or this idea. They may not care about CyberKongz, they may not care about Moonbirds, but this concept, especially anyone that's holds or is in the NFT space, they probably feel a way about this. And, respect for not only capturing attention, but invoking emotion in most of the active participants. Anyone that's seen this, read that article, is like, they probably feel a way. There's some people that really feel a way about this. Think it's like the end of the world and F these guys. Also, if you're entering your villain art, that's exactly what you want. So let's go back to Jack and we'll go back to Joey.
I've reread the article, Cap. I'm still confused. I don't understand the benefit in this if there is supposed to be one. So villain arc definitely makes more sense to me. I'm trying to be more objective. So I'm thinking, say they did this for Bored Ape Yacht Club. Would I be a buyer if just immediately they gave me a 20% discount on this? Possibly. Like if I knew that was coming, it will be interesting to also gauge actual attention and actual appetite for these projects. I just don't know there is any. Like I think that's the, at a 20% discount, I don't know if there's a huge appetite from people. If it maybe gets like farmers through the OpenSea side or something, and then they're going to try and relist a little bit higher, and then that just becomes a Blair musical chair. It's, trying to wrap my brain around this, I really, really can't. I don't really see the benefits so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of reaching. Like, I don't directly see the benefit either. I just, other than attention and I guess entertainment. I'm just got a DM. I'm not gonna out them because I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I'm just gonna quote a message I just got. I don't think I am. Wait, I could be wrong. I don't think I am. The CyberKongz didn't pick the targets out of goodwill. They chose the targets they don't like, that have liquidity and volume. They're not including GVC because they don't want to harm them. Also punks. So yeah, I don't think this is to help any of the projects they choose. I kind of agree. And
Okay, then fuck CyberKongz is what I have to say to that.
So
like, fuck you guys. Fuck everything you stand for. You've just made one more enemy today, which is exactly what you wanted. But I'm gonna be an enemy by blocking the fuck out of you and reporting you to X.
I do think now they probably don't want blocked, they probably don't want reported, but I do think like I'm trying to like really think through. This is challenging for me in real time because I am really trying to think through how I choose my words. I don't want anything to be taken out of context. I don't love it as far as like, I don't want to see projects get killed over this. It's possible. At the same time, I enjoy a good villain arc every once in a while. I'm trying to think of a good, I'm pausing because I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Like, what's a villain arc that someone's went on that's like, it's been entertaining. I've enjoyed it. None are coming to me right away. I guess help me out with that in the chat. What's the best villain arc that, in terms of you've enjoyed the villain arc? Like, the first one that just came in my mind was, Kev, I saw you come back up. I hope it says you can speak, but I don't see you on the screen. So X is really bugging. Real quick pause. If you're on stage, Kev, can you say something? Because it still shows you as a listener on my end. Might have to take a lap. Maybe leave X and come back. Especially if you went under a tunnel and had a hard handoff or switched networks, you might actually have to force close X and then come back in and we'll get you back up. But the first like villain arc that popped in my mind was like Kanye over the last year. And I didn't love it. I didn't like support the stuff he was saying. I kind of felt bad for the guy. Probably the only time I've ever felt bad for someone that's like, I don't know if he's still a billionaire or not, but that wasn't like it. That was not an, that's like the other, it was not an entertaining villain arc for me, but it was a villain arc, or Kanye's villain arc. I guess maybe like, and this is a stretch, but maybe like, I don't know, some of the rap stuff, some of the back and forth. Kendrick, I enjoy, if that was a villain arc, I enjoyed Kendrick's villain arc attacking Drake. Does that make sense, Jack? Like, again, I know this is a reach. They're very, very, very different things, but I wasn't a huge Kendrick fan. I'm still not a huge Kendrick fan, but I enjoyed his villain arc. I enjoyed him going after Drake. I enjoyed the back and forth. It was entertaining to me. It got me to listen to more Kendrick.
I guess that's what they're going for. I don't know. I don't know, at what cost. Yes. You go after Kendrick or Drake, you're going after Kendrick and Drake. Like here, you're actually directly going after the buyers and the holders of the collection.
Exactly. That's what makes this very, very different. Now,
Yeah.
Did it make Drake fans feel a certain way? Yeah. Did Drake's responses make Kendrick fans feel a certain way? Probably. Did it hurt them financially? No. Like, they might have felt away. Like, they might have not liked it. It didn't hurt them financially at all. So I think that's where this is very, very, very different, is this could have a negative impact, and it potentially could have a severe negative impact to fans of these collections, fans of these brands, holders of these brands. That's where it's like, I'm doing my best to think like through both sides of this and not just take the, oh, this is disgusting stance I took when I first saw it. Like, this is gross. This is blur farming and steroids. Probably still where I net out. I think it's, if we fast forward a couple months, I think I probably look back on this and like, this was a net negative for NFTs. I don't like, I'm reaching to find how this could have a positive impact on NFTs. And again, I'm reaching, like, I don't see it right now. Nevertheless, I'm going to be paying attention. I'm not buying a CyberKongz. I'm not blocking them. I'll pay attention. I'm going to follow along. I'm not rooting for them. I'm not rooting for them to take Moonbirds floor to zero. I am curious now. What do we see? Another response from Spencer? Do we see a response from Moonbirds? Did they acknowledge this, or do they just ignore it? I don't think I haven't seen anything on the timeline. I'm curious if anyone's have they even. I'm guessing it's been brought up in Discord. And yeah, like, to Zane's point here, some people take this way too seriously. It's just a fun mechanism. I'd rather have different, unique things than the board recycle strategy coin BS. It's different. And yeah, people take things too seriously. There's also money involved. Now, like, I'm the weirdo who I'm not taking it serious that, you know, I don't know, I probably lost, I don't know, I haven't calculated it, but let's just say 10 to 20% of at least my crypto holdings yesterday in one day. That sucks. Should be taking it serious, but I'm not, because that's not my timeline. That said, I can I will be empathetic to someone who just went out and bought 5 Moonbirds because they're bullish the Burb token, and next week the Moonbirds that they bought are down 50% because of this thing. I also don't think it's going to be that extreme. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this does create a tremendous sell-off. I will say once again, I think Moonbirds are insulated from the worst of this because they have a Burb token. And if Spencer really wanted to protect the collection, he's got a much easier ability to do so right now than any other NFT collection. Because all he has to do is tell his market maker, say, pump the floor. Like, it's going to cost him more, but it's like, hey, keep that token. Don't let it fall below 300 or 200. Like, again, it's up 40% in the last day. It may be up because of that. He might have said, hey, we're going to be attacked. We need to make sure our token holds up because that's the best way for us to protect this floor and make sure that anyone that gets relisted below 20% immediately gets bought and it doesn't cause a cascading sell-off. Because that's the other thing. Where this could get really, really ugly is, and I haven't looked at the loan books for a while. I'm not in NFT buy mode, so I haven't been paying attention. But when I am, one thing I do pay very close attention to is the loan books. Is what do liquidations look like? What could they look like? And if there is like Pudgies have gotten hit with cascading liquidations. A lot of them have, but Pudgies stand out as one that has gotten hit with cascading liquidations a few times, and it usually gets bought back up and they recover just fine. But that's where, if there are a lot of loans extended on some of these collections, and how those oracles work, like, if the ones that get listed 20% below 4 aren't instantly bought, it could lead to liquidations and cascading liquidations. Like, if there's 400 Pudgies that are out on a blur loan right now, on a blend loan, and this thing dips, hits the floor 20% and then another 20%, like, it could get ugly real fast. Like, it could throw all those in a tailspin. This is actually where I net out, though. I think I agree with Zane on this one. That I just don't think that there's enough people right now that even care about this Death Star thing. Kongs aren't really relevant. Market is such, they are, but they aren't. as far as like they're not, until this, no one was talking about CyberKongz. I didn't see it anyways. And the market is in such a bad place that people are not going to participate. Also, why I think the timing, this is where I disagree with Jax. I think the timing is actually good because there are so few active participants. There are so many people who are apathetic right now. I just don't think they're going to participate. Some people will, certainly, but it's not going to be, I don't think it gets to like the worst case scenario. I don't think we see massive sell-offs or massive liquidations just because there's too much apathy in the space right now. Too many people just don't care and they're just not going to participate. Or the people who are around that do care are less likely to participate because they view it as doing harm. Go ahead and respond to that, and then we will get Joey in here. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, look, I guess that's sort of why it's a bad case for them, though, right? Like if nobody cares enough to participate and they're doing this for participation, that's a negative. Yeah, that's like, that is a bad time to launch this thing. But in respect to the collections that could be negatively impacted by this, I think we're basically agreeing without realizing it, Cap, is what I'm saying on that front. Yeah, look, I to me, there's two scenarios that I'm pretty, and I haven't really blocked them. Like I'm up for seeing how this thing really goes, and I'm hoping someone's got a soundbite from that. So if they do want some attention and relative, some sort of carry on, if they want to make me an arch villain, that's cool. But I think it pans out one of two ways, which is, I think Payne mentioned this. Spencer's in on it. He's prepared to either prop up that floor, or he's just prepared to see what the experiment does because of the, what you explained with the token and the fact that worst case scenario, if he is propping up the tokens floor, like it's just a really good opportunity for people to get in at a really, really discounted price and still make that back from the token. I think the only other thing is, the other part of this is this just like a really bitter group of OGs who don't like the fact that these other projects now have attention, and this is, they're owed to the NFT space and they're about to dip, and they want to take some projects down with them. Like that's the only other thing I can think of. They're the two main catalysts and drivers for this that I can consider. One is relevance, attention, and to get them back into the conversation. The other is really, really bitter OGs who have tried everything, failed, and now they're like, you know what? If we're going down, we're going to take every project down with us that we can.
Also a possibility. It could just be like max cope and like, hey, how can we spread our pain to others? Like, how can we spread our max pain to others per day? Max pain will opportunity still exist. Joey, go ahead and get back in here. What, I guess, will you be participating in this one way or another?
No, I'm not going to participate. But so two things I thought of while you guys were chatting. So the first thing is, like, if you're like, the reason why the strategy tokens work for like GVC is because the bot is constantly working within the same collection. But like with this one, if it moves on to a different collection every 3 to 5 days or whatever it is, right? Because you said voting opens every 3 days or something like that, right? So like if it just moves on to the next collection every 3 to 5 days, then all you're doing is giving people with the liquidity to buy cheaper and then just relist it and make, like, for example, Bored Ape, if you took 20% off the current Bored Ape floor, you're saving about 1.15 ETH. So you buy it, the bot buys it, relists it 20%. I'm somebody that, has been in ETH forever and sitting on, thousands of ETH or hundreds of ETH or whatever it is. And I'm an NFT, and I'm in NFTs. I'm like, oh, buy. And then when the bot moves on in 3 days, I'll just relist them all slightly below the original floor price, and which is still a discount. And I'll make an ETH or 0.75 ETH on every single one of them. So like, to your point, it is kind of like blur farming, right? Like, so I don't know how this is going to have any type of long-term impact on any of these projects if they're moving on to a different project every 3 to 5 days.
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe it is like they'll just add a project every 3-5 days. I think like Moonbirds is going to continue to be a part like that. Each one, it's just like there's a separate strategy token, and when they went from Punkster to whatever was next to Vibester to Chimpster, the other ones still stayed. They just were adding to it. My understanding is it'll be the
How
same
are they
way.
going to have enough? But how will they have at some point they won't have enough ETH to deploy if they just keep adding more collections and the bot is constantly buying. Like if they add 5, 6, 7, 8 collections, how are they going to have enough ETH to support buying all of those collections?
Well,
right? Like think about it. Like if Moonbirds is at 1 ETH right now, and let's say initially the thing gets funded with 100 ETH. I don't know if again, no one's examined the contract, so maybe there's a limit on how many it's going to buy. But if let's say the ICO goes off and they get 100 ETH in the ICO, is it just going to go sweep 100 Moonbirds right off the floor and then relist them all for 20% below? And then have to wait for them to sell. And then in 3 to 5 days, they add another collection. If those Moonbirds haven't sold to refund, and that's the other thing too, right? Like the money from the sale of the relisted NFT goes to buying the token and burning the token. So where then does the money come to rebuild the bankroll to go buy a second collection, and then a third collection, and a fourth collection, and a fifth collection? Like, where's all this money going to come from?
Yeah, good question. I'm trying to think through it. It's not clicking in my brain. Like, I understand what you're saying.
Like at some point they're going to run out. Like GVC strategy, they've run out of money, right? There's only, like you said the other day, there's only like 0.8 ETH left in their account right now, in the bank for the strategy, because it has all these GVCs listed that it needs for it to sell in order to start refunding, to start putting money back in to then start buying again. So at some point this is going to run out of money.
So it is a rotate. You're right. It is rotating. So this creates a rotating strategy that adapts to market interest. So they'll basically do burb. They'll be targeting Moonbirds for whatever 3 days or however long the targeting lasts. Then they're going to vote on the next one. I don't. It's not clear to me the exact timeline. I know they said every 3 days they'll put a short list of 5, but it will then rotate. So it'll go from Moonbirds to another one to another one. So yeah, I misspoke. It's not. They're not going to add to it like strategy does. It will rotate. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So again, what impact is this really going to have if it's only targeted? Let's say it's a week, right? Because if you're voting, if they're putting a short list out every 3 days, I can't imagine the voting is going to stay open for longer than a couple days. Maybe it stays open for a week. So maybe it's targeting the Moonbirds for 2 weeks. Over those 2 weeks, if there's people that are sitting, that we have in this space that we know are sitting on thousands and thousands of ETH, right? And we go back to the Blur days where they'll just come and buy this floor up, and then they'll relist at 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3 higher. And then maybe the bot then buys it again, or they'll wait till the bot moves on, relist them slightly below the original floor price, and just start offloading them at a profit. And because now the bot's gone, so it doesn't matter anymore. So I don't know if this is going to have like that big of an impact long term. And then the other thing that I was going to, go ahead. Sorry.
I would say people in the chat are agreeing. Like, where's the buyers from Death Star coming in? Who's buying the Death Star token? Because that's where the funding would come from. Because they're the tax. Like, it's a 10% tax every time someone buys it. This probably is a short-lived experiment, I would guess. Like, it's probably Moonbirds, maybe a few others, and then the thing probably fizzles out and people move on. But
well, that's my point, right? Like, I'm all for like experimentation. Like, let's try some shit. Let's FAFO, right? But what are we FAFOing here? Like, what is the experiment here that could potentially benefit the NFT Web3 crypto space long term? Like, why? What is the thesis here of like why we're taking why did they take all of this time to build out this smart contract and come up with this strategy. Like, what is the long term? So like, yeah, okay, let's like Payne said, it's new, it's different, we're trying things. Okay, fine, let's try things. But why? What is the hypothesis here on why we should do this to benefit us 12, 24, 36 months from now? That's my question.
Fair question. I don't know if there's a long-term hypothesis. I think this might just be short-term attention grab, and let's do some experimenting. Let's enter this villain arc, and then maybe there's another ball to drop after this. Thinking through it, yeah, I do think it's short-lived. I'm like between like the Doomers and Zane. I don't love it, but I'm here for the experiment. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. It could, I guess. I just don't think there's I don't think there's enough attention or people that care that's going to get behind this to make it that big of a deal. Now, if this was like the peak of PvP and, you know, Apes versus Pudgies, and like, I could see more, maybe it could have more of a detrimental impact then. But right now, I don't think it will. But it is a Friday. Joey's going to give away a claw pull. Joey, do you want to do it from your account? I just sent you the StreamYard link. If you want to join us on video and do the pull, if you're able to, you're welcome to. If not, shoot it my way, and I'm happy to do it. Do you want to do it from your account?
I'm in the car right now, so if you want, you can pull it, and then if you want to just DM me the name,
okay,
so that I can make sure the X handle matches up, and then whoever does win, just send me a DM here on X, and then I will, once I get home, I'll get your code created for your free claw pull.
Okay, so we're gonna pick the winner, and then they're gonna pull themselves. You've got here's what I'm gonna do. I've got a minute and 22 seconds. We're gonna do a quick coffee break, and I'm gonna show the coffee break intro or coffee break, and we'll be right back. And when we come back, we're gonna pick our winner. So if you haven't yet done so, you've got about a minute and 30 seconds to go hit the YouTube, subscribe to YouTube. It's pinned up top all the way. Scroll over there, you'll find the account, hit the sub button, and then take a screenshot showing you're a subscriber, drop that in the chat. We already have a handful of entrants there, but you got probably right now a 1 in 10 chance to win this $50 claw pull. Go check that out. We'll be right back. Joey, if this stops playing music before I get back, take the mic, and I won't be much longer, but we'll be right back.
Be back yet? Okay, so for the person that is going to win, once he draws, you'll just send me a DM here on X. I'll create you a promo code. You will have to obviously create a BZ account. If you don't have one, just go to bz.com. You do not need a crypto wallet, although almost all of you in here are crypto native, I would assume, but you do not need a crypto wallet. You can literally create an account with just an email address or your Gmail, and then we will create you it creates everything you need in the back end, and then you'll simply just go to the TCG Silver Claw. You'll enter in the code. It'll zero everything out for you, and you'll be able to play the claw for free. And then at that point, you'll decide whether you want to keep the item, swap it, and then if you do swap it and you want the funds, you'll be able to withdraw those funds directly to another wallet, or send them to another wallet, or withdraw them to Coinbase if you have a Coinbase account. So that way you can then off ramp the money if you'd like.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks for covering the mic there for a sec, and greatly appreciate the support here. Appreciate the added claw pool. And our winner here today is going to the Iceman, Mordic Thomas. Thomas, I think over here, let me scroll up. I'm pretty sure we even got a YouTube comment from Thomas this morning. Let me find it. Maybe I'm wrong. But I do see yep, there we go. One of the first in the chat said that's definitely a keeper for the So the Blastoise. You won't win the Blastoise, Thomas, but you hope we're rooting for a Grail pool. No obligations to share that Grail pool, but would love to see, if you don't mind, once you get it, would love to see what you win. Bring that maybe to Monday morning show, and we will go from there. But Thomas, do me.
Yeah, once he pulls it, he'll be able to download a little. I'll right there download a picture, and then just tag myself, Cap, etc., so we can see what you get, and then tell us whether you swapped it or kept it.
Awesome. Thanks again, Joey. Really appreciate it. And if you missed it, this was just a one-off impromptu Friday giveaway for our YouTube subs over there. We will be doing our community member of the month. Will be selected from YouTube subs over there, and they will be getting a $250 BZ Claw pool with a Grail item up to almost $9,000, $8,888.
Cap, just so you know, that the item in the Gold Claw does change. So we've had like a first edition Charizard, which is worth well over 10 grand. We've had some One Piece Grails in there as well. We have like more stuff coming in. So today it's that Blastoise, but by the time you pick your community member of the month, it could be something bigger or something different. So
awesome. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. Congrats, Thomas. He says that's okay. Any BZ Claw is a win. You're also stacking points over there. We haven't even mentioned the points. Like if you saw when I had it pulled up, the 250, you get 250 points. The 50, you get 50 points. And I don't know. Like they haven't said anything, but usually when you see points in crypto, it leads to something. Some days magical, sometimes magical internet money. I'm not saying that. I'm not putting any pressure on Joey to say anything or the BZ team, but yeah, any claw pool is a win. And there's a leaderboard over there. Have some fun with it. And again, appreciate everyone sharing their thoughts or opinions on. And I did just DM you, Thomas. You don't mind hitting me back with your wallet address? It's going to come up real quick. We'll get, I think maybe first time caller, Thomas, longtime longtime fan of the show, longtime supporter. Big fan of the newsletter. I think, is this the first time on stage, Thomas?
No, GM. I've been up when Steve and everybody's been around from time to time. But no, thank you. I appreciate the gesture and the claw pool. I just wanted to come up and just say I just love the show, dude. From even when I got in the space a while ago, I tune in when I can, and especially with YouTube, it's better me visually to learn things than it is just to listen. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all that show up every day.
Awesome, man. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the support, and congrats on the win. Good luck with the pool, and excited to see what you get.
Thomas, I just sent you a DM so that way I know it's you on X.
Perfect.
I'm going to finish making my waffles here, and then I'll get to that.
And Joey,
once I get home, I'll get you the code. Sorry,
perfect.
Cap.
I was just saying, no need to. I don't need to play intermediary there. Feel free to just send it directly to Thomas, and we'll be good with that. But thanks again. Appreciate both of you, and looking forward to more claw pools in our future. We're gonna hard pivot here. Last half hour of the day. If anyone wants to join the conversation, has any thesis on what led to these the market crash, the market sell off, feel free to add your thoughts, your takes, your comments in the chat. I've got a few theses, a few threads I will share, and curious to hear if there's any other takes. But if you missed it, if you were away from the computer yesterday, Bitcoin, it's down 5% of the day, down at 66,000. Although it was, for a minute there, it was looking like we were going south of 60K. It bounced off 60K like a trampoline, but it was I saw some people had buy orders in at like 55K and they thought for sure they were getting filled yesterday. Crazy. 14%, I think at one point. It was down on the day, which is just wild, especially when you're talking about a $1 trillion asset over $1 trillion. It has bounced and recovered today from down low of 60 to back up to 66K. Still, that is down 5%, 4 or 5% on the day. It's not just Bitcoin though. All the majors pretty much sold off. ETH still down 6%. BNB down 5%. XRP bounced a little bit up now on the day after it sold off. Solana down 8% to $82. Tron down 3%. Doge down 4% to almost 9 cents. Just a bloody day. Other than Hyperliquid up again another 2% in this sell-off. And then as we mentioned, big winner is Burb. I don't know how, but it's up huge on the day. I mean, I have guesses how, but I'm not going to go there right now. So congrats to those Burb holders or the ones who haven't exited their Burb position. Go ahead, Joey.
Do you think it's surprising that we're not seeing like MicroStrategy and some of the other Bitcoin believers like DCAing way down at this point? Because I think last time we spoke about MicroStrategy, is like DCA was in like was it the mid 70s or the high 70s or something like that? And we were like, oh, he'll never let it drop below that. And now it's way down here. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen like an announcement that Saylor bought, 1,000 Bitcoin at 60K to DC himself way down.
He may have bought yesterday. Usually we get those announcements a couple days. It lags usually a couple days. But they did have an earnings call yesterday, actually. And I'm trying to find the take because it was Michael Saylor and Tom Lee together on some of the screenshots I saw. My Google search not helping me this morning. In the earnings call, they did say that it could go. So they reported $12 billion Q4 losses amid the Bitcoin downturn, and they did say that. So quoting Michael Saylor here, a lot of people don't really think, they're like, oh my God, MicroStrategy is going to get liquidated. Well, dude, no, Bitcoin could go to $1. We're not getting liquidated. We're just going to buy all the Bitcoin. I'm trying to find this other take here if anyone has it, because it mentioned that. I think I mentioned it wasn't Saylor, but someone else on the team mentioned on.
Hey, Cap, I don't mean to interrupt. I don't know if my X is wigging out or if it's somebody else's, but you just got really quiet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it could just be my X. I don't know. Is Thomas is still up here? Thomas, is he quiet for you too, or is he?
No, he sounds normal. So do you.
It must be a you problem, Joey. Yeah,
it's probably me. Let me go down.
All good. What I was looking for is, it's funny because Tom Lee and Bitmine is in a very different position than is Strategy, but Strategy's Bitcoin position has lost nearly 40 billion in 4 months. That was a post from 2 days ago. So it's even more. They're probably on paper down $50 billion in the last 4 months, which is mind blowing. I'm looking for the quote I saw from the thing that said here it is. Their CEO stated that Bitcoin can go to 8K and stay there until 2032, and they wouldn't have any liquidity issues. So take that for what it's worth. I do think a lot of people vastly misunderstand MicroStrategy and how they're structured. Yes, they've incurred debt to buy this Bitcoin, but the holders of the debt have like no rights. Most of them aren't getting any interest, and it's levered in the sense that it's debt, but they don't, if it falls below their cost average, they're not getting liquidated. They're just down. That's it. They're just down on paper. There's no, per the CEO, take it at an earnings call. They're a publicly traded company, so fairly safe to take them at their word. It can go, I'm going to repeat this. MicroStrategy CEO stated Bitcoin can go to $8,000 and stay there until 2032, and they would not have any liquidity issues. So does it suck for shareholders? Does it suck for their balance sheet? Yeah, but they're not. You see people saying, "Oh, if Bitcoin goes below 76K, their average, he's gonna get a margin called, or they're gonna get liquidated." That's just not true. It's just not true. Oxy, correct me if I'm wrong there, but that's a pretty accurate statement, right?
Yeah, I looked up when obviously everything was kind of crashing, and he does have, like, obviously he has some debt associated with the company what he was using in which he was using to buy it, but there are no financial covenants that at least I can see. So I guess maybe a disclaimer: I didn't read through the entire 10K in financial filing, so this is just from like some AI summaries and just like reading through a couple of different things. But from what I can tell, he doesn't have any financial based covenants that would cause like a debt call or a margin call, like people are suggesting. So the only way that someone could call the debt would be whether he stops making he stops making principal or interest payments on the debt. Report requirements from the SEC that like require I guess certain things, and they don't comply with those things, or if the company's like insolvent and like doesn't have cash flow and they declare bankruptcy, obviously. So like there's like nothing that says, oh, if the balance sheet ratio, the assets fall between or like fall below X% of liabilities or something like that, which you typically see in some of these debt instruments. That doesn't seem to be the case for what he's got here.
Yep. Appreciate you adding. And yeah, that is my understanding as well. Are you able to hang out for a few minutes and talk through this market sell-off, these theories or thesis of why and where, and you might have some interesting takes on this as well. Are you good for a few minutes?
Let's do it.
So
yeah, let's do it.
I have a few here that some were shared in the chat. I was reading in real time. I think one was Diablito shared. I'll pin this up top. This is one, and I have some others that go different direction, different angle, and a little more in depth. But the one that Diablito just shared is from a Ryan Gentry. Says this was the highest volume day on IBIT ever by a factor that this was posted yesterday by a factor of nearly 2x, trading 10.7 billion today. Roughly 9 million in option premiums were traded today. Also the highest ever for IBIT. Given these facts and the way BTC and SOL traded down in lockstep today, normally SOL trades with beta, plus the relatively lower liquidations on CeFi exchanges, this leads me to believe that the nexus of the problem lies with a large IBIT holder. IBIT has become the number one venue for BTC options trading, so my guess is that a hedge fund trading IBIT options is the culprit. If you look at 13F filings for IBIT, I like whalewisdom.com, you'll find a number of interesting names that have a majority of their fund in IBIT. In fact, there are a few, not naming names, that have 100% of their fund in IBIT, which likely means no cross margin. In fact, the biggest reason to set up a fund to hold a single asset would be to isolate margin. So if the trade blew up, the brokers wouldn't have to claim any other assets. Interestingly, most of these giant single asset funds are based in Hong Kong. We know that Asian traders, particularly in China, have been deeply involved in the silver and gold trade. Silver was down 20% today, which is the second largest one-day move in a very long time. Largest was on January 30th. We also know that the JPY carry trade has been unwinding at an increasingly rapid pace. This leads me to think the culprit for the IBIT blow up today was one or more Hong Kong-based non-crypto hedge funds. As Franklin B. pointed out, the funds being non-crypto would explain why no one sniffed them out. They would likely have a few to no crypto counterparties, meaning complete isolation from CT. The last piece of evidence is that they personally know a number of Hong Kong-based hedge funds that are holders of DFDY, which had the single worst day ever with a meaningful MNAV decline. The MNAV had been holding steadily, surprisingly well throughout this pullback until today. One of these funds could have been connected to IBIT, as I highly doubt a fund taking that larger position in IBIT and using a single entity structure would only have the one fund. Now, I can easily see how the funds could have been running a levered position or levered options trade on IBIT Think way OTM calls equal high, ultra high gamma with borrowed capital in JPY. October 10th could have very well blown a hole in their balance sheet, and they tried to win back by adding leverage, waiting for the obvious rebound. As that led to increased losses, coupled with increased funding costs, I could see how the funds would have gotten more desperate, and hopped on the silver trade. When that blew up, things got dire, and the last push into Bitcoin finished them off. I have no hard evidence here, just some hunches and breadcrumbs, but seems very plausible. Let's see if some more concrete evidence floats to the surface soon. The smoking gun will be a large fund fitting its profile, filing a 13F showing a giant IBIT holding going to zero. Unfortunately, if a fund had their IBIT position liquidated today, they wouldn't have to disclose that position change until 45 days after the quarter end. So we would be looking for mid-May for a smoking gun from the 13F filings, most likely. Hopefully, some of you out there have, with too much time on your hands this weekend, can snoop around more. My guess is that this would start to get out because something of this size is just too hard to hide. Additionally, if the broker was not able to liquidate the fund in time, the broker may have a hole in their balance sheet, which would be even more difficult to hide. He then goes on to add, so interesting that the selling really started Thursday, January 15th, just more than 90 days after the 1010 blow up. If the selling had stopped, and hopefully we just bottomed at 59.530 at 8:15 a.m. Hong Kong time, February 6th, it looks like some Hong Kong hedge fund blew up on 1010, had to disclose 110 to 115, and then was forced to liquidate all their Bitcoin and associated crypto assets starting 115 for 3 weeks. I don't know if it's the bottom though. Oxy, thoughts on that? Did that make any sense? Did that make any sense to you?
No, 100%. I mean, this was the first time I kind of saw this theory was this morning. And I know it's very, I mean, I feel like it could be a very real possibility. And it's funny because, I mean, obviously there's always been like some form of option trading in like paper trade, I guess, as it relates to Bitcoin, you know, but never to this magnitude that we've seen now with ETFs and all of that, and then leverage or like add to that all the perp trading and all the perp volume associated with it. It's just so incredibly levered up that a volatile asset like your crypto asset with such a small relative to the greater market, a small market cap, like swings like this can completely wipe out any fund. Yep. I think it's a very real possibility for sure.
Absolutely. And it actually it sets up or segues perfectly into the other take I wanted to share. I'm looking for the original take. I was actually, so just for not, so we don't have any dead air here. I'm going to show another take. Don't follow this person. I actually, after I eventually shared it, I come to find out that several people have this account muted or blocked, and it's a larger account that's known for basically just parroting good takes, but from smaller accounts and not crediting them. So I'm going to go look for the actual original take that basically says this in so many words, but this, I might have actually found it here. Hold on. So here's, I'm going to read this without highlighting the who copied the post, because it's just someone basically copy pasted, changed the intro, but the thesis is the same. So I'm going to go find and credit the original poster here in a minute. But here's adding to that. We were just hitting on there. Here is why Bitcoin is nonstop dumping right now. If you think Bitcoin trades like a supply and demand asset, you must read this carefully, because that market no longer exists. What you're watching right now is not normal price action. It's not weekends. It's not sentiment. It's definitely not retail selling. Most people are completely unaware of what's happening. By the time it becomes obvious, the damage already be done. This move didn't start today. It's been building quietly under the surface for months, and now it's accelerating. Here's the truth. The moment supply can be synthetically created, scarcity is gone. I think it's a little extreme, but where they're going with this is exactly what they say exactly what happened with Bitcoin. It's the same structural break that already happened to gold, silver, oils, and equities once derivatives took over. The original Bitcoin thesis is broken. Bitcoin's valuation was built on two ideas: a hard cap at 21 million and no rehypothecation. I could be pronouncing that wrong. The framework died the moment Wall Street layered this on top of the chain: cash settled futures, perpetual swaps, options, ETFs, prime broker lending, wrapped Bitcoin, and total return swaps. To Oxy's point, we've been able to do this for a while. There's been Bitcoin derivatives that existed on chain. They've just recently, since the ETFs entered TradFi and opened up the pool of buyers to not infinity, but significantly larger and significantly more capital. From that point forward, Bitcoin's supply became theoretically infinite. Think about that. So it went from 21 million to, once all these derivatives came out, it's now theoretically infinite, not on chain, but in price discovery, which is what actually matters. Synthetic float ratio, SFR. It's the first time I've even heard this phrase or this metric, but they say this metric explains everything. Once synthetic supply overwhelms real supply, price no longer responds to demand. It responds to positioning, hedging, and liquidation flows. Wall Street can now trade against Bitcoin. They're not guessing direction. They're doing what they do in every derivatives dominated market. They create unlimited paper Bitcoin. They short into rallies. They force liquidations. They cover lower, and they repeat. This isn't betting. It's inventory manufacturing. I feel like I'm reading a ChatGPT output here, but I'm going to continue, and I'm going to go credit the original poster. Once one real Bitcoin can now simultaneously back 1, an ETF share, 2, a futures contract, 3, a perpetual swap, 4, an options delta, 5, a broker loan, and 6, a structured note, all at the same time. That's 6 claims on one coin. That is not a free market. That's a fractional reserve price system wearing a Bitcoin mask. Ignore it if you want, but don't pretend you weren't warned. I've been calling Bitcoin tops and bottoms for over a decade, and now I'll do it again in 26. Don't follow this person. There's a chart here. I am going to go pull up the original post account here, but Oxy, it's a little, I don't know, sensational, a little like maybe hyperbolic, but what you were saying earlier, like their derivatives do change the game. And this idea of one Bitcoin can now have 6 different claims on it, from ETFs, futures, options, lending, wrap Bitcoin, and swaps. Can you expand on that? Or do you happen to disagree with that? Or you think it's potentially a sound thesis and maybe the cause or the reason behind the sell-off we've seen?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I think, so all those different things, like being one Bitcoin backing all those different things, feels like not quite that 100% correct. So like, for instance, if I deposit one, if I'm like, oh, I want to buy 1 Bitcoin worth of an ETF, I send the dollars to, the 60 whatever $1,000 to the ETF provider. They go out and they buy 1 Bitcoin. Now, the only way in theory that would happen is if that ETF provider then turned around and started leverage trading it. They started, opening perps with it, deposit it into Hyperliquid and started trading on it, and then all those different things. I guess I could see where someone could use the IBIT shares or the ETF shares or whatever it is to then go out and trade on leverage with those. But I'm struggling to understand why he thinks 1 Bitcoin can be used in all those different markets unless the ETF provider is actually doing that. Whenever it comes to the ETF share or the ETF comment there. That said, though, I think he's generally right that all of these different paper instruments that people are using is absolutely inflating the inventory of Bitcoin from the original value. I guess my question is then, why isn't it incredibly expensive to open up these various instruments on an asset like Bitcoin? Maybe it's going to start becoming very expensive, but why is it not already? Because in theory, if you go to open up an option on a high growth or an expensive share, the exercise cost is typically pretty high because you're like on options, for instance, you're buying 100 shares at a futures price. But like when you turn around and you start creating derivatives on top of that, you started creating swaps on top of that. I would have thought that it would be incredibly expensive because of how volatile the asset is to open up those types of instruments, simply because the risk is higher. But I guess I don't know how those are really structured. I don't have enough information on that. and I don't know, I guess I would assume it would be incredibly expensive and the value prop wouldn't be there, but maybe it is, and that's why they're doing it. But that'd be really my only question.
Great question. I don't know. I'm not like, this is not certainly not my area of expertise. This is some big brain economist stuff here, and I'm learning. I'm learning with all of you. The one thing, like, I guess to really simplify it and dumb it down, is whether everything that we just read there is factual or not. I think most of us can agree that derivatives does bring in a entirely new realm of options to not just buy, but it creates these derivatives can create a more volatile asset. And you're taking one Bitcoin and potentially, even if it's not all 6 of those things, you can create, with leverage, it's just going to increase volatility. It works both directions. So it can send things up, but it also, when things unwind, and if someone did get wiped out or blown up, some fund got blown up on 1010 and then chased, like, I don't know, that should just be some crazy theory, but it's kind of baked in logic. Like, if someone blew up on 1010 because they were over leveraged on a Bitcoin trade, and instead of just going under, they tried to make it all back and chase the silver trade, and then they got blown up there. Like, the crash we saw in Bitcoin is wild. To me, it's even crazier to see what we saw in silver. Like, and that happened like in a day. Like, at one point, I think I saw it was like in an hour or two, it was a 22% sell-off in silver. Like, that doesn't just happen because of more sellers than buyers. Like, some fund, something blew up. I'm pretty sure of that. Like, it just doesn't, it's too big of an asset class to just have to trade like a meme coin. What I'm sharing here is from Bob Kendall. I just recently found, was turned on to Bob. Bob has the Kindle report, his profile, a 42-year veteran of technical analysis, creator of Portfolio Expert, WaveTech process software, in the Kindle report and WaveTech. Far more educated and versed than I am on topics like this. Too small of an account. It's like, if you saw, there's like, he's got like 16,000 followers on CT. We'd probably all, like, I'm not like, I don't know Bob. I just followed him this morning, but we probably all would be better off, our algos would be better off to follow more people like Bob than, no offense, like and actually Ansem can have some intelligent takes as well, but Bob, I don't think, is out here shelling, meme coins either. Anyways, not making this PvP, that probably got taken out of context as well. But Bob says this is, I'm not sure if this was the exact original post that the one I just shared parroted, but it's along the same lines. He says he's responding to a quote piece here. It says your thesis falls short regarding. It says spot ETFs are not synthetic; they hold real Bitcoin, unlike cash settled futures or structured products. Major spot ETFs, IBIT, FBTC, they're physically backed. They buy and custodial actual Bitcoin. To which Bob responds, says, Kevin, you're conflating custody with price discovery. Yes, spot ETFs hold Bitcoin in custody. That's not the question. The question is whether those coins are removed from the price setting flow. They are not. Why? He says, because ETFs custody Bitcoin via prime brokers. Authorized participants hedge ETF exposure with futures, options, and swaps. Market makers short derivatives against ETF inventory. The same Bitcoin then supports multiple paper claims. Result, one coin, multiple price claims. Does that make sense to you, Oxy? I'm reading this in real time and attempting to get my small pea brain around this stuff, but I think that makes sense to me. Does that check out as you heard me read that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was suggesting. Is I don't think these ETFs are going out and turn around and using their Bitcoin on. I'm reading on YouTube right now. Where was he talking about the ETF? Okay, yeah.
If you're on,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I also pinned this post from Bob Kendall up top
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to. That's kind of what I was suggesting. So he's saying spot ETFs hold real Bitcoin in custody. That's not the question. The question is whether these coins are removed from the price setting flow, and they're not. So yes, the ETFs aren't going out and they're not leveraging the hell out of their positions. It's everyone else that uses then those positions, the ETF position that they purchase from the ETF provider. And then they're leveraging the shit out of that to where if they get liquidated elsewhere, like the previous post was saying, like the cross margin versus isolated margin. When you have a cross margin position, your entire portfolio is back. Everything is backing that single position. We're isolated. You're only putting up, say you put $1 million into this isolated position. The most you could lose is that $1 million. Now, cross margin position, if you put $1 million into a position that's cross margin, if you have a $100 million fund, the entire $100 million is backing that one single position. So if that 1 million position gets wiped out because you're 10x leveraged, they could go after 10 million of that $100 million fund. Like that's also subject to that specific leverage position. So this post is very helpful and add some more context. So it's not the ETFs, which is what I was kind of suggesting before, but it does make sense that a lot of external parties could be leveraging up using these things.
Exactly. So it's not the ETFs, but once those ETFs exist, others use it. So I'm just going to, he says, this is textbook rehypothecation, even if the underlying asset is physically held. He's like, it's identical to gold ETFs. They hold real bars, yet paper gold trades 50 to 100 times the physical supply because price is set in derivatives, not in vaults. Bitcoin now works the same way. Futures, perpetuals, options, ETFs, and swaps, all referencing the same underlying Bitcoin. So scarcity still exists on chain, but it no longer exists where price is discovered. That's the entire point. Again, Kevin's response was to Bob's initial, he quote tweeted a post from the Bitcoin therapist. I'll pull that up in a second, but he says, so I'm going in reverse order here so you understand and can follow this, but you can click through all this in the post up top if you want to. I know this is a heavy topic too, so like some of you listening are probably listening like a deer in headlights right now, probably a little glazed over. I'm doing my best to attempt to tell a story here or turn this into like somewhat layman terms. It is a heavier topic, but I think it's important to at least attempt to understand or grasp how Bitcoin, in particular price discovery, has changed now that it's entered TradFi. Bob says, so here's the issue you get. Influencers like this guy have 250,000 followers and they claim they don't know why it's declining. It's because they don't understand basic mechanics of price discovery. They don't understand the marginal buyers or the float determines price. They think the on-chain Bitcoin is the price discovery. Well, it was once upon a time, but now, once you can synthetically manufacture the supply, the asset is no longer scarce, and once scarcity is gone, price becomes a derivatives game, not a supply and demand market. That's exactly what happened to Bitcoin. This is the same structural break that occurred in gold, silver, oil, and eventually equities once they become derivatives dominated. The original premise that no longer exists is Bitcoin's entire valuation logic was built on the finite supply of 21 million and the inability to be rehypothecated. I can't wait to use rehypothecated in a sentence this weekend. You can probably tell it's the first time I've ever said that word out loud. That died the moment cash settled futures, perpetual swaps, options, ETFs, prime broker lending, wrap Bitcoin, and total return swaps were layered on top of the chain. From that moment forward, Bitcoin's supply became theoretically infinite, not on-chain in price discovery. The moment that metric that explains that collapse is that synthetic float ratio. Once you can synthetically, so this is out now. I'm getting to where the first post I read parroted. Once you can synthetically manufacture, the asset's no longer scarce. Once scarcity is gone, price becomes a derivative game. This is exactly what happened. Why Wall Street can now trade against Bitcoin. They do exactly what they've done in every commodities market. They create unlimited paper Bitcoin, short into rallies, force liquidations, cover lower, repeat. So yeah, this is absolutely the first one I read is it's like a copy pasta of this with a few changed words. Shame on that person, right? Like, I'm not going to go off on a creator rant, but it does I don't know. Like it's not that deep. It shouldn't make me angry, but it does make me a little angry that you see these accounts with 250,000 followers blatantly copying takes and good content from much smaller accounts, and it's their original thoughts. Even if he did use ChatGPT to construct this, like quote tweet, credit the guy, do a screen swap, or at the minimum, make more changes. Like you can still have a same take, but not copying exact word for word. Be better, post stealers. Copy it, throw that into Claude or ChatGPT and say, hey, reword this so I can post it under my own as an original post. Like, don't just like in today's world, like it's lazy to just blatantly steal posts by copy pasting. Anyways, I'll end my rant there. And that was the post he quote tweeted was this when Bitcoin was at 73K. No one actually knows what's happening, why price is going down. We've seen this a lot. We've seen this a lot on CT. We all like to talk about what happened 10-10. Someone got blown up, and while that very well could have happened, it's also like whether everything I read there from Bob is 100% factual, 100% accurate or not. What I do 100% agree with is that once Bitcoin became a TradFi asset, once all these other derivatives became available to the market, it changed things. It changed how just the overall structure of something that a lot of its value was derived from that fixed supply of 21 million coins. Now, this isn't saying they're going to go create more Bitcoin. Like there's only ever going to be 21 million of them on chain, but as we've just shared on in pretty good detail there, one Bitcoin could lead to 4, 5, 6 claims on that single Bitcoin. And now it becomes this big money game, this derivatives game. I'm not trying to freak anyone out. It's just, it's important to understand that the markets have changed a lot, and why people got excited for, the institutions have come, these ETFs have come. There's going to be a lot more demand, a lot more buy pressure. I've even seen people like, how does Saylor keep top blasting Bitcoin and the price still goes down? Well, it's because the price discovery is not solely on chain anymore, is a big part of it. That you can't just buy your way out of, supply more. You can't just, the buyers on chain just can't be more than the sellers. It's not that simple. It's much more complex. Good, bad, and different. I don't know. I'm very confident saying it's much more complex than it's just, there's 21 million Bitcoin on chain. And, if demand is greater than supply, number go up. Oxy, anything to add to that or kind of put a bow on this conversation this morning? Appreciate you joining me, and thank you for helping me talk through that, because it's, like I said, it's not my area of expertise. I'm learning along with everyone here, and I try not to go heavy and deep on topics like that are heavy like this. I don't want to lose people. I do think it's important to at least get these takes and attempt to understand potentially some of the why behind this. And could all this started because someone got blown up on 10-10 and they chased a silver trade and they got blown up? Yeah, that's all real. But the reason they got blown up is likely has something to do with these derivatives and margin.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, and I'm not an expert. I have a little bit of finance background in this like crazy derivative and swaps and stuff like that. But it's just so complex, and there's so many layers to it and so many different ways that you can structure these things that it's just it's a rabbit hole when you start going down. I mean, I think at the end of the day, what I'm just so confused by is why it's so easy to like leverage to the nines all of these various positions without paying an exorbitant amount in fees and interest and all of that kind of a thing. If you look at perpetuals on Hyperliquid, for instance, like when you're in a long position, most times than not, you're paying 10% in leverage fees, in margin fees, because you have to borrow that money from somewhere. Like if you look at Bitcoin right now, I don't know what it's currently at. I can do a little live looking, but right now it's a negative. It's negative right now, so it's a negative 6% annual on longing Bitcoin.
How
in most markets. Go ahead.
How does it get so? if you take out a long position, you're getting paid 6% because the perp dexes they need the long volume. Is that
it's mostly it's not hyperliquid that necessarily sets it. It's what are other people doing? So for instance, this is telling me is that more people are long than short on Bitcoin on hyperliquid specifically. So when I go on, so if I'm going on the hyperliquid, I want to open a long, I'm going to go out and I'm going to borrow, $1,000 from someone else that is basically on the other side of the trade, the short, like on the short position. But because there's more people shorting than are longing, they have to pay the longs a premium because they're borrowing more of the underlying margin funds that are being put onto that long trade. In most markets, the longs have to pay the shorts because there's more people longing than short. And now it just flips. So now I'm looking at it. Hold on, let me look. Now it just flipped. Now it's 10.95% annualized. So the margin, more people are longing it than shorting it. So now longs have to pay the shorts, basically 11% APR because you're borrowing that money from them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I was trying to find a better post on this topic, but I do have a chart here I'll flash on the screen real quick about how much this gap is right now. Short sellers have a historic level, 30 billion of shorts, and the longs are like 100 million. Like it's just and this was yesterday evening at 4:04, so it's probably changed a little bit. But to Oxy's point, there's just far more people short right now than long, and impacting those funding rates. This is you know what today's done is it's kind of it's inspired me to get better educated, where I not only can understand this in more granular detail, but also help explain it a little better, because I'm not claiming to be, economist or some financial guru, but this stuff does interest me. I am very intrigued, and I do think it's helpful to even if the thesis is wrong, I think there's some merit that it's not wrong, but I think it's helpful to understand causation. And I think it's helpful to understand the whys behind some of this stuff. And so the long story short, my takeaway from today and this crash is dive into some of these headier topics. In fact, if anyone has a good book I could throw in the Audible, I've got some windshield time this weekend. We got our first lacrosse tournament preseason, but first lacrosse tournament tomorrow. And maybe I will give find a good audiobook to help educate me on this side of the markets when we talk about TradFi and all these derivatives. Like, really, if anyone has a good book on derivatives and in TradFi, let me know. I would appreciate the recommendation. And one other thing I wanted to just share in passing, maybe if someone's looking for a project this weekend, I think I got a good one for you. But before I pivot into that and send everyone off one other day, any closing thoughts, Oxy? Any final words? Anything you wanted to share before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I think I just maybe want to echo what you said, is just like learn how these things work.
Yep.
If you don't, I mean, obviously most of us aren't going to be opening up a bunch of options on ETFs or, obviously getting into derivatives and all that kind of thing. But like, if you want to go and are trading on perps, for instance, I know a lot of us probably are trading on perps. Understand like how these things can impact your position, because if you're levered up, that can be obviously very, very detrimental to your position. Or even like the funding rate conversation. Like right now, like XRP, if you're long XRP, you're paying, or if you're short XRP, you're paying 75% APY on those things. Or if you're, I'm looking at this wrong. If you're long, you're actually earning because so many people are short. So like understanding like, how does that impact my position? 100% APY or 75% APY on a position that you're just holding long term. Obviously that's crazy. That's an insane fee that you're paying on that position. But so just understand it at a basic level, at least, because it's more likely than not going to impact your position. and your decision making. So that's why joining these types of shows and having these conversations is so important, even if it is, boring or whatever. Just talking about it is just really important.
Agreed. Yeah, it may not be nearly as exciting is probably not the right word. It may not invoke nearly as much emotion as the death strategy and CyberKongz targeting Moonbirds. It's far more important to understand. It's not as easy to talk about. It's not as easy to comprehend. And you also don't have to do this. You can simply dollar cost average into assets you're long on and call it a day. You can attempt to time tops and sell tops and call it a day. But if you're going to get into really trading, if you're going to get into perps, at least it's not going to hurt you to have a better understanding of how things work behind the scenes. And even like, I don't know a number. I'm not even going to put a number up, but I bet there's people that have been trading on Hyperliquid lighter and don't even understand that they're paying fees every time they open up a position. I mean, I say that it's kind of hard not to, because Hyperliquid shows you right there in your portfolio what, not only the percent, but it shows you in real time how much it's cost you. But there's just, again, I think there's a lot of CT. This isn't, I'm not insulting anyone, I'm not taking shots at anyone. I'm learning as well. I'm not better than anyone. I think there was a lot of trenchers and meme coin speculators and NFT traders that got into Hyperliquid or lighter or pick your favorite perp decks. And yeah, they say you learn by fire, you get liquidated once, you do things differently. If you haven't done that yet, I'd encourage you, before you start opening up positions, especially like understand the difference between cross margin and isolated margin. It's very important. Like you get in there and you have you could blow up your whole port and not even realize it, because you open up a cross margin position and not realizing the impact that can have if one of those assets goes down. Like it is, if it was easy, everyone would be printing and be up big on opening longs and shorts. It is complex. I'm not one for overregulation, but there's a reason why, to make some of these riskier investments, to do some of the stuff, you've got to be a accredited investor in the US. There's a reason that this stuff hasn't been easily accessible to the masses. I'm grateful that we do have more access today. There's much more accessibility than ever before, and it's only increasing. But I saw Hyperliquid generated almost $5 million in revenue yesterday. Go learn the stuff. I'm a big Hyperliquid fan. Hype is up. It also did get listed on Coinbase, as someone mentioned. Don't let Hype and Hyperliquid be the only ones making money on you trading perps. If you're going to go there, like, understand it. And I think because it is complex, oftentimes that's where opportunity lies. If you can't understand it, there's where you can find an edge. You can get ahead of this sort of stuff. You could see some of this stuff start to unwinding, and maybe, I would say weeks, but even really days, hours, seconds can matter. Final thoughts. I'm going to give our guy Steve a quick shout out. He mentioned something that's going to segue into my project for the weekend. He said, you want to see tech adoption curve in real time? Check Facebook. I rarely use it, but logged in this morning and everyone's generating AI characters themselves, something we were doing 2 years ago. I'm sharing because I saw the same thing. I logged in over there, and same thing. It's like, it wasn't the Gibblify, but there's half my Facebook feed is high school friends that are making AI characters of themselves. And he says, meanwhile, we're programming 24/7 on OpenClaw bots on Mac Minis, to which my weekend project, if you're looking for one, I pinned this article up top from Jordan. Jordan's been around the space for a while and gives a very good detailed how to set up OpenClaw ClawBot without giving it keys to my life. So if you're going to get into OpenClaw, or really if you're going to open up you're going to put any AI agent on your computer, before you give it access to your bank account, your email, your life, OPSEC is very important. We talk about never save your seed phrases digitally. You shouldn't have a picture of those on your phone. You should not have a picture on your computer. you should have your wallet segregated. You shouldn't be minting and using wallets frequently that you have high value assets in. I've had my hot wallet since I got started in the space. I still use it because it's got history there. I don't keep any assets in there. Just as we talk so much and stress so much about wallet segregation and proper OPSEC and don't click on any random links in crypto, when you're dealing with these AI agents, when you're setting up OpenClaw, it's as if not more important to follow proper safety protocol and procedures. And this guide here is a pretty good one in terms of how to do that. So yes, if this is something you're interested in, if you're looking to explore, this isn't the only guide, but go check Jordan's post out above, maybe save that or bookmark that for the weekend. And I would strongly encourage you to do some research before just going wild and setting up OpenClaw on your, especially on your primary machine, segregating that to a backup, whether it's a Mac Mini or an old laptop. Don't just give it carte blanche approval on everything. That said, Hans W, thank you very much for the Pingu tip. Greatly appreciate that over there in Abstract. Appreciate Thomas subscribing to our YouTube channel. Congrats on the BZ Claw pull. I mean, I'm rooting for you. Hope you pull a Grail. Thanks to Joey for sponsoring that today, just being generous out of his own pocket. And also big thanks to BZ. I'm going to say they're a partner. That's, again, not a paid endorsement. They've supported us in the past. Big fans of the team and all that they're building over there. And they have generously agreed to contribute a $250, the Gold Claw pull, to our February Community Member of the Month. That member will be selected probably March 1st. Let's see, March 3rd, actually, I think is the first Monday. We'll finish out the month, and we'll pick from one of our YouTube subscribers this month. So being active over there, being in the YouTube chat will help you earn some points in that contest. But the reality is just keeping it real. Payne and I are chatting, and we will. There's a lot of criteria. There's this fancy algorithm how we choose that winner. Do Payne and I both unanimously agree that you're a good value add to the show. Katie made it easy last month, and so yeah, we're picking favorites. There's really and to qualify as one of the favorites, you got to be a YouTube sub. That's it. We may get a little more quantifiable in the future. Right now, it's just very subjective, and so keep in mind, I can be bought. Payne can be bought. A kid, please. This is not. We're not soliciting any handouts, but it's a joke. It's a bit. But I actually can be bought. There's a number on everything in my life. It's just not enough it's not worth it to you to buy my love for a $250 claw pull, although you could win $9,000. That said, it's a Friday. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back Monday. We got the coffee with Captain Pump today. So we will do our best to bring it back Monday. Hopefully it doesn't go backwards over the weekend. But yeah, Bitcoin is ripping. It liked the take this morning. And you're welcome. You're welcome for the coffee with Captain Pump. Enjoy. I hope it lasts while we are off air over the weekend. But we're back up. We're rapidly approaching 69K. The coin market cap chart still shows down 0.32%. So we're basically break even on the 24-hour, which is wild compared to where we were yesterday. I'm actually going to show the Google chart because it looks more positive. Their one-day chart shows we're up big on the day. So I don't know where the times differ, but the Bitcoin chart here shows up almost 9% on the day. We talked about yesterday, it bounced off of 60K like a trampoline, and it has kept bouncing. So fingers crossed. We've seen this before. Actually, I'm going to go check Fear and Greed. Has Fear and Greed bounced yet? It usually lags a little bit. It hit its all-time low at 5 when it hit that 60K, and it's still at 5 today. I'm guessing this chart just looks crazy. It's like going off the chart. It's like below. It looks like it's broken the chart. It's like the meme where like the red line is like through my desk into the ground. That's what the Fear and Greed chart looks like right now. Yesterday was extreme fear at 11. Today it's 5. Really curious where it lands Monday morning, because prices certainly bounce. I would imagine sentiment bounces a little bit. Don't get over your skis. Don't just go crazy. But hopefully this bounce alleviates some of you if you were stressed out. But it will be an interesting weekend to follow. Majors price action. Not sure when that Death Star thing kicks off, but I'll be following that one as well. And we'll be back next week for a full week here on Coffee. If you haven't yet, last reminder on the newsletter that does go out tomorrow. Coffeewithcaptain.com. Drop your email address in there, and we don't spam you. Just hit you with one a week, and appreciate all the support. With that, thanks again for tuning in today. Appreciate Oxy and Joey and Thomas and all of our guest speakers today. Appreciate everyone who added to value in the chat, and certainly appreciate all those YouTube subs. And with that note, hope you all have a wonderful weekend, everyone.